our next guest. I'm very honored. Thank you very much for being with us. Our next guest is Wally, we know him as Famous Amos. And so most people go through life as if they were living out the movie Groundhog Day, one day at a time, same thing every day, never breaking the cycle. Then there are those people who wake up every day with a mission to live out their dreams and to inspire others to connect with their potential. Wally Amos is one of those people, a man with a mission. We had a survey at homeschool.com recently of 10,000 people. We asked them the biggest challenge they were having with their homeschooling. We expected it to be related to something having to do with academics, like they're having a challenge with math. But really, the biggest challenge facing homeschoolers today, according to the survey, is time management, organization, and motivation. And isn't it really all about motivating the kids? So today, Wally is going to speak with us about how to motivate your kids to become lifelong learners. And before we start on the interview, Wally, would you tell us a little bit about your history? You have a fascinating history, and I don't want to minimize that by telling your story myself. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your famous cookies?
Well, how far back do you want me to go?
Well, you definitely have to cover the chocolate chip cookies because that's my favorite.
Well, I launched Famous Amos 30 years ago in Hollywood, California. Prior to that, I was in show business. I'd been an agent at the William Morris office for 7 years. I was a personal manager in show business for 7 years and had never really had any retail experience, and also a high school dropout, had no strong educational foundation either. But I loved chocolate chip cookies, and I believed that I could sell the ones that I'd been making for 5 years. So March 10th, 1975, I opened the first store in the world to exclusively sell chocolate chip cookies. It was a good product, it was a good promotion, and that's a great combination when you can put that together. People responded, they bought the cookies, they loved them, they told their friends about it. I was on television, the media is always looking for something interesting and exciting to latch on to, and so I was it. And it was a good ride, and to some degree I'm still on that ride because I'm now getting ready to open up another cookie store. I launched Famous Amos in 1989, and Kellogg's owns the company now. During the interim, I started a muffin company called Uncle Wally's, and that company is doing very well, and we're selling cookies in Sam's Clubs and Walmarts and Costco's, etc. And so now it's 30 years later, and I have this really strong desire to get back into the cookie business. So we're launching August 28th here in Hawaii, in Kailua, Hawaii, which is where I live, Chip and Cookies, CHIPANDCOOKIE. They're 2 chocolate chip cookie character dolls. Anyone interested in knowing more or seeing the characters obviously can go online. Everybody's got a website these days. I'm no different. And the website is Chip and Cookie. The and has to be spelled out, chipandcookie.com. And we're having a grand opening in Hawaii, August 28th. Everybody's invited.
Now, one of your passions is literacy, and you've been using your name recognition and your fame, if you will, to promote literacy around the country.
That's correct, and I will continue to do so with Chip and Cookie. As a matter of fact, I've shifted my focus from adults to children. And with Chip and Cookie, we are promoting children's literacy. We're promoting specifically reading out loud because we believe, well, we don't believe, we know that there are tremendous benefits for reading out loud that have been substantiated by educators and everyone else involved in that arena. So Chip and Cookie are ambassadors of reading, and we've formed a foundation, the Chip and Cookie Read Aloud Foundation, and we're using the foundation also to promote reading aloud. We'll contribute 10% of our net earnings from the company to the foundation, so that the foundation will be able to continue their work also. And that's just to show my commitment. I mean, if you say you support something, then you got to really, it's important to put your money where your mouth is.
Now, the dolls and the book are available at cookiesarelove.com.
They're available at cookiesarelove.com.
So www.cookiesarelove.com. Now, while you've received some some very impressive honors and awards. For example, I know that you received the President's Award for Entrepreneurial Excellence.
Yes.
You also received the Horatio Alger Award, and now that is an award given to a very selective group of people who are changing the world with their philanthropy. Is that correct?
Well, what we do, first of all, to be selected as a member of Horatio Alger, you've got to have some history of being philanthropic, of giving back to the community. But the Horatio Alger, every year we give a scholarship. We give over $500,000 in scholarships to students who otherwise would not be able to go to college. So it's a group of people who believe in the American free enterprise system and who have made great successes by utilizing that system.
And you've also received the National Literacy Honors Award.
That was wonderful. That was in the White House. I think that was 1988. I lose track of when these things happen. But I think it was 1988, and that was in the White House, and George H. Bush was president, and I'd done a lot of literacy work with Barbara anyway. And so they had a wonderful ceremony, and George Bush presented the National Literacy Honors Award to me for my work with literacy. It was, I had a history of 26 years of promoting adult literacy. I was national spokesperson for Literacy Volunteers of America, and at one time there were 50 half-hour shows that were airing that I hosted that helped adults learn how to read or get their GED. I'm still on the board of Communities in Schools and the National Center for Family Literacy, so I'm still involved with literacy organizations or organizations that are involved with education.
Now, you're also a well-known motivational speaker, and if you don't mind, I'd like to list out some of the books that you've written. That's
fine. Let me say one thing. I refer to myself now as an inspirational speaker as opposed to a motivational speaker. I even gave myself a title as a messenger of inspiration. I heard a speaker, Lance Secretan, who said that, there are many ways to motivate someone. You can coerce them, you can threaten them, you can bribe them. But the reality is there's only one way to inspire someone, and you have to get inside of them. You have to light a fire within them, and that is my goal. Sometimes I don't know whether I succeed or not, but more often than not, after I give a talk or spend time with people, they will share with me that they perhaps were slightly inspired by my presentation. So I want to inspire people.
I'd like to take a moment, if you don't mind, to list the title of the books that you've written, because our listeners are huge book readers, as you can imagine.
Yes.
The famous Amos story, The Face That Launched 1,000 Ships.
That was my very first book in 1983.
Love the title. The Power in You, 10 Secret Ingredients to Inner Strength. Man with No Name, Turn Lemons into Lemonade.
That was when famous Amos sued me over ownership of my name, and I wrote that book. I was a little bit into the lawsuit I wrote that book while I was being sued to show people it's not really important what happens to you. It's how you respond to what happens to you that makes all the difference in the world.
Isn't that absolutely true? Because you can't control what other people do. You can only control how you choose to respond to it.
No question about it.
Watermelon Magic, Seeds of Wisdom, Slices of Life.
That book is about choice. It's about, there's a great stereotype among blacks, and that is that if you're black and you eat watermelon, that you're lazy, you're shiftless, and all of that stuff. And for years I said, well, why is that? Why, first of all, that watermelon choose black folks to put that stereotype on? And in reality, it wasn't watermelon that said that. It was a group of whites at one time that told maybe one black person, a group of black people, that, hey, look at you. You took a picture of them, showed them the picture, and look how silly you look. And, watermelon's great. I'm eating some this morning. I went up to the North Shore yesterday, and they got a roadside stand there that they sell water. They sell the most delicious watermelon in the world, Kahuku watermelon. I bought one for me and one for a friend. And so that book is about, Watermelon Magic is about choice. It's about you being responsible for the choices that you make and not allowing other people to tell you what to choose. A stereotype is someone else's opinion of who you are. And once you put that stereotype up to the light, it dissolves into nothingness.
And your fifth